Hello and welcome back! Today we will take a closer look at the magic system. We will learn what your models need in order to cast spells, what types of spells there are, and how to cast them. A model needs two things in order to cast a spell. First off, they need access to Spellcraft on their profile card. Spellcrafts can be seen as arts of magic, a way of categorizing and organizing different types of magic according to their style and use. For example, there are wizardry, art of conjuration, hieromancy, art of sorcery, and so on. Secondly, the model needs an elemental affinity like fire, water, or divine in order to cast the spells of that certain element. As a note, some classes make models more proficient in magic and have extra bonuses when casting spells, like sorcerer or wizard class. In order to cast a spell, the model must perform either attack, assist, or the ritual actions in their activation sequence. If the target of the spell is an enemy model, the caster must perform an attack action to cast the spell. If the target is a friendly model, the caster must perform an assist action. And if the caster wants to perform a conjuration, a summoning spell, the model must perform the ritual action. In most cases, the caster must perform an intellect roll in the resolution step to check if the casting of the spell was successful. The ritual action does not require a roll, however. To see how your model can cast a spell, you should look at the relevant spell in the spellbook. First, find the Spellcraft and the element that are available to the model. The model should have the level of the Spellcraft indicated on their profile card. The model can cast spells listed up to that level. Similar to items, spells have properties written in the table. These will tell you all about the particular spell. The effect tells you what the spell does, and reach tells you at what range the spell can be cast, and so on. Also pay attention to the type of the spell. This will let you know when, for how long, and how you can use them. There are 5 types of spells, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. The most common spell type is sorcery. Typically these are combat spells. The effects of sorcery spells last until the end of the activation sequence, and the main strength of sorcery type spells is that they can be used in the reaction step. Next up are healing spells. Their effects also last until the end of the activation sequence, however they can only be used in the model's active role. Third are enchantment spells. Their effects last until the caster's next strategic phase. Like healing spells, they must be cast during the model's active role. Fourth are transmutation spells, and these can modify the terrain and environment. Their effects last until they are either dispelled or removed. And the last and most complicated type of spells are the conjuration spells. These can bring various creatures to the field under your command. In order to perform a conjuration spell, the model must perform a ritual action. This can only be done in the active role and only if the model declared idle as its movement. All conjuration spells, as well as some other powerful spells, have a mana cost that needs to be paid in addition to the activation point spent for activating the model. To successfully summon or conjure a creature, the model must gather enough mana counters to pay the mana cost before they can summon it. Models with the mage class are the only ones that may produce mana counters. Mana counters can be used only by the model that produced them unless stated otherwise. They are cumulative and they do not disappear at the end of the turn, meaning they stay with the mage until they are used for casting spells with mana cost. When a model spends the appropriate amount of mana counters, it can cast a conjuration spell and place the corresponding creature's model into play. The creature is placed into base contact with the summoner and is immediately allocated activation points up to its stamina value. After the creature is successfully summoned, it has a mana upkeep equal to their tier. For example, a level 4 creature has an upkeep of 4. The summoner cannot summon any more creatures to the field if the collective mana upkeep of their summoned creatures is equal or higher than their stamina stat. During their strategic phase, however, the summoner may dismiss one of their summoned creatures for free in order to free up the mana upkeep for fresh summons. But be careful, should the summoner that summoned the creatures fall into the incapacitated state or be killed, all of their summons are immediately removed from the field. That will be all for today. With this video we covered all the core rules of Eldfall Chronicles, thus concluding the tutorial series. However, stay tuned for a video of an example round to see all this in action. And keep an eye out for our upcoming Kickstarter campaign Northern Wind, that will bring various new models and a new way to play Eldfall Chronicles. Until next time.